Welcome to Ancient Current, Rastafari Roots and Culture. I have here today JahRiffe. JahRiffe is out of Boston, well known for his song Rasta Can't Fade. He has shared the stage with Jah 9, Kabaka Pyramid, Kaimani Marley, to name a few. It brings me great gratitude and joy to have you here today, JahRiffe. Welcome.
Yes, give thanks, sis. How are you?
I'm good. How's everything?
Everything is good. Everything is good.
Blessed.
Taking the current easy.
That's good. So tell me, you strike me as a real mystic and rootsy man. You're living in Boston. How do you stay connected and grounded in such a big city?
Well, I'm inspired to do that. I've gotten my calling from early out. I wasn't always like this. Of course, we all have our path, but I got my calling from early in my teens. At the age of 17. So I've been treading this path for about 20 odd years, most of my life, with the pure inspiration of the spirit. I can really say that because, most of us, like I said before, we have paths that we live that are prepared for us to be who we are. So I grew up in New York, born to heritage of Jamaican parents. I had the rough days of the street, a little bit early end of it, and was inspired by the whole movement of Rastafari from a book called Blood Posse by the author of, I think his name is Robert Walker. And in that book, and if I'm going too far, just stop me, because the story is like, I like telling the story. I do share the story a lot, because I feel like the only way that you can really be influence on people are by showing them your experiences.
Yeah, let us know.
This book was made by written by Robert Walker, named Blood Posse, and in this book, I embarked upon some of the surroundings I was in growing up in New York. And one thing that was in that book that stood out was Rastafari, and once that question raised in my mind, well, what is this Rasta thing? Right there, the whole thing started. And that was at the age of 17, and that changed my whole life. So I really seen that as the occurrence of an awakening that leads me to now, 20 something years later, living my life in this way. Yeah, so that's how, so maintaining it in the city it was birthed in the city, birthed in the city. So I think it's the greatest place to really maintain it, because they say the Buddhist sat in the marketplace. And if you're up in the hills too much, you actually rob yourself of what you need to know, or to know how to maintain your peace within the chaos of things. So I think it's a great blessing to be here and do that. But in a spirit inspiration, I would say how I meant it. Yeah.
Nice. Can you talk about the Jah and I Roots movement? Is that just the band, or is that more than band? I see JahRiffe and the Jah and I Roots movement. What is that?
Well, it started with, again, like on the path of coming into Rastafari, coming into self, coming into music. The way I came into music at first is I grew up again in New York, where I was a part of a sound system. My stepfather had a big sound called Supersonic. So I learned all the records. I started selecting on the sound and all these kind of things. And I had my own sound called Poison Clan with some of my schoolmates.
Okay.
And like when I fast forward from there, as I got inspired with Rastafari, I came up with this. Well, I was in a band. I moved to Boston, was in a band, and the band to me wasn't too serious, which I was more serious about the path, not taking away from anyone at that time, but that's how it really went down. And as I went through that transitioning, I was like, man, Jah, I really want to do this, and I recognize that these people are not really serious about where this is really taking us and how it needs to be transported, the message that needs to come forth. I said, yo, give me a name. I said, Jah and I said, well, what does that mean? Well, it's Jah and I, but it's Jah in the I, right? And that's what's going to move. So it started off as Jah and I Roots Band. There was no JahRiffe at the lead of it.
Okay.
But with transitioning, and the Jah and I Roots Band was still always the mentality, the perspective of it's a whole movement. It's everybody. You know, it's everyone that I basically sometimes I say to the audience that you have been initiated once you have come in contact with Jah and I Roots movement. You know what I mean?
Blessed.
Now we're one blood, we're one family. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, now walk through the initiation of this energy, and there's no turning back. That's not a threat. That just like but some people could get scared of that. You know, he initiated us, and I did not even agree.
I didn't give him permission.
Yeah, but your soul did. The music allowed you to. You know, the message allowed you to. The presence of the Most High. So now, as I went through and kept, you know, the first album was like in 2005, you know, so I was writing my own music probably 1999, okay, you know, and as I started to go forth, you know, just changing of musicians, using different musicians, and to keep up the inspiration, I said, well, I really don't have a band because I have musicians that are willing to play with me, but I don't really think they understand the whole mission or the inspiration that is really happening here. No matter how much I tell them, no matter how much I show them, no how much proof we get by doing shows and going different places, releasing different music, and the knowledge that is being ascended down through our beings, the musical tones, it's just still this human interference. You get me? Because we have this human interference that we don't just let go and let us be our whole self. So after doing that, I had to say, well, it has to be stated as a movement. So now it's JahRiffe representing the movement, and it's anyone who wants to be along with the movement, supporting the movement like yourself, just getting interested into the movement. It's like, okay, well, Jah and I Roots movement. So it's a whole bunch of musicians, a whole bunch of artists, whoever understands our duty, our civic, to live up to the standards, not rules, but to the standards and laws of divine law, you know, and take on that responsibility of that. We should be our brothers and sisters keeper, you know. So that's really where the movement has started, or Jah and I Roots Band started, to what it is presently now. And it was for a long time, I didn't want to show my face. I didn't want to write my name on things. But then I just said, okay, I just got to start putting up my name, you know, and then Jah and I Roots movement. And that's what it is. And it's been successful, you know, because people are getting to know me more and know me and know the purpose of it. So they know in I and I, you know, so it's been positive.
Give thanks. Many of your songs are very tender and truthful. How does it feel to share in that way so publicly? I mean, you kind of mentioned it with your name even. I'm just wondering about sharing so vulnerably. Does that feel empowering, or is that a sensitive thing to put yourself out there in such a truthful and tender way?
Being on the journey and understanding myself more that's a part of my tools to go places people don't want to go, but we all have to go. So we have to like open ourselves. Me as a musician, as a singer and a player of the Most High, like I'm here to take you to those places. I'm here to release the fear. So in order to do that, I have to actually be honest and full with myself. You know, if I can't heal myself with my music, how am I going to heal someone else with our music? you know, because these are ancestral things, you know, these things that I'm speaking about. It's just for everybody to remember themselves, just like I'm remembering myself. And when I say Ra, dealing with Ra, the energy, in the energy of Rasta, you know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't feel so vulnerable because it's just being truthful. It's being real, 100%.
Beautiful.
You know, again, going places like the last song I just released, We're Grooving, is like a song that I sat down and I thought about, yo, we need a song that, mind you, I'm talking to inner self, you know, and my spirits saying, we need a song that everyone could feel right now, but still get strength from, you know? When I look, I'm getting goosebumps. When I started to sing this song, the song came like this, bang. We're so hard, but we're grooving. Struggle makes it right. Because the struggles that we go through are actually our blessings to make us rise. You know what I mean? So if you can face those struggles and see them as your blessings, that means you're endowed with empowerment. You know, and people at this time, our brethren and sisters, need to understand that we have the power. You know, that has been JahRiffe and the John I Roots movement, John I Roots band, and the whole life path of me anyway. It's like, no one's not going to tell me that I can't be my divine self. That is a choice. That's why we were given free will. That's the revolution we really need to have. The revolution is not about hooting and hollering. The revolution is about taking back over your being. You know what I mean? Your spiritual being, your mental being, your physical being. Knowing that you were given free will, and it's not just a slogan. Like I always refer to Bob Marley's "No More Slogans." We don't need any slogans. We need action to what we say. You know, when you say love, you know that love is an action. When you say that you're conscious, you want to live consciousness. You just don't want to say it, because it's easy to have words sound, but it's more difficult to actually initiate the power. You get what I'm saying? Because a person sit down, we could sit here and reason for hours, and I can sound so knowledgeable and so aware. Reach out on the street, everything just gone. You know what I mean? Everything, I live in all kind of loose life, and we see it all the time. And that's not judgment on those who have done it, but it's actually discernment. Because you have to be able to discern to reach true knowledge and wisdom of the Most High, you know, and understand that wisdom is meant to funnel down in you. That's what that was. That's why you are created. Man and woman were meant to be created as the highest being that the Creator had made, that had free will. But it doesn't mean that you have free will, that it's the right thing to do to disobey the law of the Most High. Will. So like His Majesty have a line where he says, a man opinion doesn't mean truth. Everybody can be opinionated, but what is the absolute truth? You know, like Midnight would say, Von Benjamin, build all your ways on unshakable truth. I think that's the line. And once we understand, we could have our opinion, we could have our dislikes and likes, but the reality is, what is the absolute law to things? Like a law of what goes up must come down. You know, so I think it's very important, as being one of the pioneers, one of the chosen ones. But we all are chosen. But do you choose to walk the way? That's the thing. Do you choose to walk the way? Because within walking the way, it's a lot of sacrifice. You know what I mean? For you to really uphold the divine line. So to go to the deepest pits, I'm willing. You know, I'm willing. I'm willing. And I pray for that every day. For the Most High, my ancestors and the Orishas and the deities and all the energy, all the Ashe, all the electromagnetic balancement of Ma'at, everything that you want to talk about. I ask them to give that to me so I can be that example. So then I could shine upon my family, my friends, my community, and the world. And may I return back to the heavenly place, or to that place which one come from, with clean hands and a clean heart, and be acceptable, you know? because we all have to do the transition. We all are on the journey only to return back to where we come. So it's like you want to return knowing that you did the job that you were sent here for, even if it's in floors. You know?
Even what?
Even if it was just sweeping floors. That job is as important as the man who is the president. So it's like, you have to go to those deep ends, go to the pit, go to the deepest of deep, the core of yourself, and no faking. You know what I mean? Know when you're wrong, know when you're right, stand within the neutral place, be humble, but also have courage and bravery to go there. And especially when you're taking up the helm of an instrument, when you're taking up public audiences, hey, you don't want to direct people in the wrong way. You know, rappers get the power and use the power, misuse the power because of other accolades. Well, we really want to, well, I feel the inspiration to really stay within the boundaries and in the lines of the Most High as best as I can, to be an example for the present, past, and the future, you know. So I go there. You know what I mean? So I'll go there, and I'm going to go there.
Beautiful, JahRiffe Roots movement. I love that. Just how it ties in to, you know, you said we at first, but then you corrected yourself into saying I, but yet, you know, speaking as a whole for trotting on the path of righteousness and living truth, sharing truth. And one thing that I really appreciate hearing you talk about, you know, such a vulnerable topic of sharing your heart publicly through your music. It's so nice to see a man who is comfortable in that. I think so many men are brought up to feel that they shouldn't expose a tender side. They should be strong and not have this balance that is so very important for women and men, to have a balance of energies. So, you know, I'm grateful for your ability to stand in that and share that.
It was like it has been a great, look at it. It has been such a great preparation, because I see like even the confusion of how they say, you know, feminine energy is upon the earth and feminine energy comes to rule and masculine energy needs to cool down and all these. The reality of those things is that these both energies are in all of us as beings. To subdue ourselves to the balance of all these energies. You know, feminine energy is the distribution of the divine energy of the creator. The masculine energy is the divine distribution of the creator. So we have to find a way to intertwine it, just like the two serpents intertwine around the health symbol, the Kadis, the sign of Imhotep of medicine. It's twined around in total balance for enlightenment. They call it the Kundalini energy. So it's not about any energy ruling over anyone, but it's actually energy that needs to come into balance. And yes, it has been so long a forceful energy coming, brute force coming, and need to recognize that we need that feminine energy to be as equal, so we can get positive results out of this thing. You know, so I think the interpretation of things need to really be reconfigured in the right manner at this time. At this time and ever time, from the immemorial of time, these things were embedded. It's just that, again, man has this free will thing, and once he feels a little bit of power, he wants to like, you know, I push everybody around, you know what I'm saying? And now you're gonna have too much feminine energy now and not enough masculine, and then everything is out of whack again, and we have to find ourselves. We need to make the pendulum swim in the way that it's balanced. Each time it swings, it balance. You know, it's like rocking to roots reggae music. Sometimes the meditation so deep, you just sets up all night, and we just want that right balance. You know, so everybody could just be who they need to be. You know what I mean? Be who they need to be. Nice. I remember when my children were young, I used to walk with them attached to my, you know, with the holder,
the carrier,
you know, with the stroller. Yeah, and I would jog with them and I would walk it and I would watch my other brothers watching me like, yo, how is he capable of doing that? But I knew what I was doing. I knew that I was like inspired that, yo, how come they told us that we can't do this? You know? And that was nobody telling me that I can't, you know. It was just like, wait, that ain't right. You know, you see, the inner divine intelligence guides us all the way. It's just if we trust it. So again, it even goes back to like, you have to trust it enough to dig deep, And mind you, like I'm telling you that I've been traveling this way since I've been 17. I'm not 17 anymore. I'm saying I have 5 youths I'm raising, right? I'm 17, you know, and to see that now I'm living in a time where I'm seeing people upholding up certain things, and I'm like, oh, they're ready. So I wasn't off my rocker, because if you don't have confidence in yourself and what you're being told from inside, you'll lose your way on the path. You know, because you're watching everybody else sway. But I was always ready and willing to go against the grain. And now I see that the energy is pulling everybody towards this odd grading of the land that needs to happen so everything could balance off. So when I look at the timing, I'm like, wow, we're in a great time. Our ancestors must be shining now. They're coming down. Look at this beautiful, look at what's so great. Today's spring equinox. Look when we're having this interview. You know, spring equinox. Thanks.
Yes, give thanks.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it's blessed.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about music that you've recently put out, and if you have anything percolating behind the scenes at this point?
Okay, I'm always doing music. I'm always getting inspirations. I was just right before we started the interview, I was recording.
Okay.
We're grooving. I just started another project with David from the Zion Kings production, Zion High production. He also produced my last album, Reflection, for 2019. But we've been just going in. I've also done some newer things with Roots Alley, along with my record label, John I Roots Movement Records. A song like Lifted, Champion. We just released It's All Right a couple months ago, but freshly released like last Sunday, so a week from today or last week, we released We're Grooving. And Regrooving is getting so much good airplay, good comments. It's a real feel good. This song, like, you know, when the songs are made, I totally just disconnect myself. That I'm singing, because it's like I just absorbing it as a listener. And when I listen to it and I'm driving with it and I'm jamming, it's keeping me alive. You know, it's like so hard, but we're grooving. Struggle makes it right. Oh, my brothers, oh, my sisters, it's been hurting for a long time. You know, and it's so true. You know what I mean? Even many days you want to give it, but your heart is set on winning. Celebrate who we are. So many times we had to stand tall. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's the truth. We have to celebrate ourselves because there's so many things that we've been through. Look, we've been through, in the last 2 years, COVID. We're now in a war, right? Been affected indirectly, directly, distance, close net, but we're still here. So think about, you know how how they always talk about the roaches. We the people can't die. You know, we stick. In Ifa, the roaches represent the ancestors, right? Because we lived through it all. So we're here. We're still here. song, I think it's a very special song, a song that is so needed right now. And I have so many others that are coming, not only because it's my catalog, but when I listen to my catalog, things that I've written from 2005, it's like, it's relatable to now.
Mm-hmm.
I sing like songs, Time of the Hour. The time of the hour, yeah, Jal will be there. Well, there we go again, outside in the cold. But if we look within, the fire will arise. No children unjust society, yeah. The world is in poverty. You know what I mean? Right now, this is happening. But no matter the time or the hour, yeah, Jal will be there. You know what I mean? So it's like that these catalogs of songs are songs that we need right now. And where grooving is just another one of those that we need for right now. So it's such a blessing to really see that this music is funneling through this medium here. You know what I mean? And it's a wonderful feeling. So that's the latest so far. That
Sweet.
we're grooving, just released last week, and I'm in the studio now, just working on a whole bag of music. You know, always being inspired to write and coming up with new things. You know, the remembering things.
Mm-hmm. One of your songs is titled My Devils, and it is a very intense and powerful song. And I think, generalizing, sometimes people can be quick to say, well, slavery's over, or like, I'm not racist, or that wasn't me. And can you explain how this still affects you today and your family? The trials and tribulations that you have gone through or your people have gone through, how is that still affecting you and playing out?
Well, being a connection because of my skin, being a connection of the slavery, just because of my skin. And the reason why I'm emphasizing on that is because we all are a product of the diaspora. You get what I'm saying? We all. And the diaspora, the real true diaspora, is the lost souls, not just slavery. Because slavery wasn't only happened from a physical sense, but it was a spiritual sense. It was people being told that we should be segregated from these people, or we should rule over these people, not understanding that we all are people of the land. You know what I mean? And it's a sad that we haven't cultivated ourselves above that as yet. But then I just call it more work to break down the barriers. You know what I mean? So do we allow it to affect us? No, we recognize it. And how we do it is live Jah above them, as Von Benjamin will say. It's like, those are my devils. Like, you're trying to inject me with racism. Nah, man, move that. Foot in the devil neck, we say. Right? Foot in the devil neck. You know what I mean? Because that same devil is the devil that is in me, trying to hold me. So even though I'm a child, because of my skin, they say a child of the diaspora. But I never really faced a thing called physical slavery. It was my ancestors. And why did my ancestors have to go through that? Some people start fighting me for that. Why did there always a reason for something? So as I'm not going to go to find out the reason, I have my opinions, that my opinions may not be truth, right? But it's what am I doing now to actually change all of that? You know, I have my children, my family, my friends. I allow them or I entertain their opinions with, you know, we need to be segregated and we need to be this. But then at the same time, we would just be doing the same thing as what took place. If when I speak to people of my hue, I say, well, we were once kings and queens. It wasn't all of us kings and queens, right? Because we only have one king and one queen. The ones that I know is Emperor Haile Selassie, Empress Menen. That's the ones I know and seen with my eyes on videos and things like that. But if we were all kings and queens, we should be able to do it again. If the Caucasian that we speak of is what they want to say a lesser version of us, that means we should be able to teach them. So if we go and fight with the same fire, we could fight with fire, but not with the same intensity of fire or the same intention of the fire. We have to go with the fire of teaching, a fire of more compassion, the fire of more love, and show how the earth needs to be ran. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants peace. So if they even put more melanated people by their hue, because everyone is melanated, it's just how much you go and tap into that melanation that you have, that melanin you have. You know, everyone is melanated. Everyone has it running through their body. It's a thing. The only thing with the darker skin melanated person, it's seen more on the skin, right? But that doesn't mean because they have melanin skin, they're tapped into their divinity. So those who are enlightened to that level of divinity need to show all people of all hue, hey, stop fighting with those devils. You know what I mean? Or overthrow the devil. Don't allow that same suggestion of racism and segregation and to defeat your divinity. I was watching a movie last night, and it was about it was a kung fu movie. I like kung fu movies. It was a modern day kung fu movie, and this person was born with a devilish spirit, and this spirit would come to them and tell them, hey, look, me and you are blood. You need to take on your ancestralship. So this is the question that came to the end. He had the chance to save the whole situation, but he would have to be embodied by the negative spirit. So he became embodied to save the whole situation. And he walked away into darkness to leave the people that he was connected to and loved, but for the greater good. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, as you recognize these negative thoughts and these negative situations, yo, live Jah above them. Again, don't get caught into your emotions and your opinions and your likes and your dislikes. What would be the right thing to do is the idea that we need to encourage. So that's what that song is all about. So it's more like a challenge. You say, I'm a child of the diaspora. Well, all right, more work. Because Jah no give you more than you can bear. You know what I mean? So we're going to live Jah above them. You know what I mean? We're gonna raise up, and we're raising up everybody. Anybody who's ready to live in this world of what, like, so when people say black, when they talk about I'm a black man and I'm a black woman, black is a consciousness. Black is a liberty. You know what I mean? It's not just a hue. Because when I look at you, I don't see white, you know. White is something like this. If you want to, I think people are colorblind. You know what I mean? I'm not black, I'm brown. You get what I'm saying? So if you understand what took place, and that's not eradicating what took place, but it's like we have to live Jah above them. We have to build concepts. We have to have the same structures of a corporation, but different cultivation in the workspace. We need to have things that people understand. What is more valuable is humility and morality over your big car and your big position. You know, that's what Rasta is all about. That's what true spirituality is all about. You know, so again, the devil, put your heel in your devil's neck. Put your heel in the devil's neck.
I think that I think that song is really powerful on a lot of levels too, because I think anybody can relate to it in the way of that voice, that it can be in your head, bringing you down instead of keeping you connected, keeping you uplifted, keeping you in a positive state of mind. And so I just found that song really powerful and haunting, but also exactly what you're saying, like nailing it down. Like, no, you know, you're this devil in my head, and no, you can't. You know, I'm going to rise above it. So, and
the thing about what they call the devil, you know, we need them. Because if everything is too smooth, We don't have no challenge. Back can't get pushed against the wall. I know you're back against the wall. I know it's time you fall. Babylon, it's time for wrong and right to trade places. You are the joker with many, many faces. The devil is the joker with many, many faces. The devil has a job to do. So the devil has a position. So don't just throw out the devil. So in African spirituality, they call him Ilegwa. They call him Eshu. They call him Sebek in Kemetic. It's same African spirituality. They call him the Jinn in Islam. They call him Satan in Christianity. But all of those characteristics are what's in us. All those characteristics need to be so we can stretch forth our hands unto the Most High, that we can strive to be our divine self. If everything is too smooth, we're not going to attain true enlightenment. It's the decisions that you make at the crossroad. If you ever heard of Ilegwa, he stands at the crossroad. Most important time of any development in your consciousness is when you reach to the crossroad. What decisions do you make? So like I'm saying, we could sit here and have this long conversation and I'm going in and everything is ironing up, right? And you're like, yo, he's enlightened. As soon as I reach to the crossroad, I made the wrong decision. I couldn't uphold the divinity that I'm speaking of. So we need these challenges. So the devil has his place, so we don't want to cast the devil away. We don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't want, you know what I mean? But we want to see where everything has its place. Every life is made up of balance. The creator created the world and the universe and put everything in order. Everything has a system. Sometimes we fight down a system, but the body has a system. The body needs water. The body needs potassium, magnesium, iron, and it has a system that it works by, So imagine now if we all just adhere unto the system, like the car. The car needs gas, it needs oil, it needs oil change, it needs brakes. If we adhere unto the system, we will get the results and we'll have a smooth ride. That smooth ride with bumps in the road, but still able to get over and still keep the smooth ride, to keep our peace, So I don't cast out the devil neither. I just keep the devil under my heel to say, yeah, I know you got to test me, but hey, I got you by the chain, Yeah, I'm not gonna let you overthrow me. You know what I mean?
That's a good place.
Get this wrong image of who the devil is, and that's what has happened because everybody's so scared of the devil now and waiting to die to go to heaven, not realizing that heaven is right here in your mind, and we can make this is the place.
That brings me to another question with repatriation. Do you see that as a physical or a mental thing or both?
It's both. I see it as both, but I see that it's more of a mental, spiritual repatriation, because anywhere I am Africa. I'm an earth man. I'm a universal man. So anywhere I stand up is God, is the Most High, is divinity. I could be in Russia. I could be in Germany. I could be in France. Am I going to change? I might take all my bangarang to Africa, all my confusion to Africa and cause more confusion. So if I don't cultivate and repatriate myself, how am I doing any good to anything by just moving the physical body somewhere? It's if I haven't truly cultivated with inside, because I won't even recognize the opportunities that are being presented to me. I'll just go with my same corrosion and poison and things, the same mental slavery. So I think it's all in all, whether I'm here or whether I'm in Africa, it's all good. I mean, and this is just something I heard, so I don't want to say it's definite truth. I mean, a lot of the Rasta brethren them went into Ethiopia, and now at this time, Shashamani is not even really under fully control of the Rastafarians. You get what I'm saying? That was given from Emperor Haile Selassie I. Why? Because they did not cultivate what they need to cultivate there. I don't know the full story. So that's just a hearsay. Nyabingi camp taken away in Jamaica. Pinnacle taken away in Jamaica. You know, these are touchy subjects, but these are subjects that need to be invoked, because it's kind of like, why did that happen? I believe it's a belief. Some of it is fact, because I can see it with my own eyes. But just to leave it for other discernment people to come in and look at it, it's like His Majesty said, organize and centralize. That's the thing. Because if we organized and centralized our the way that we should have, and not just burn a fire upon the whole of Babylon system. Everything has a system. Everything have order. Everything have a system. Everything have order, right? And things that we have that we call Babylon, them is ancient orders also. It's just who we see at the helm of it now. We want to deem it negative. You get me? Everyone needs good education. Everyone needs health insurance. Everyone needs good jobs. Now, how did we create good jobs? I speak for myself. For the last 20-something years, I've had a landscaping company, which I was invoked in a way, again, to be a service of humanity, a service of the earth, was to take care of the earth and create jobs for myself, for others. Cool. In the last 4 years, I've opened a vegan restaurant, right? To have more options, greater, healthier options for our community. So now we're on the way of, and not just me, a team of us. Now we're on the way to open a health food market, right?
Nice. That's great.
So we're actually creating what is being talked about, you know, and I know it's happening in many places that are not getting some spotlight too. You know, it's not just me, you know, it's a lot of other people that we don't hear about. But we need to pool these things together, and the things that we sing about, anybody who's singing about positivity should be constructing positivity, using those same funds that are being built, or bringing up systems and cultivating structures, infrastructures that can bring about what we see this world to be. Money to not buy Nikes and Jordans and then complaining, oh, Nike and Jordan's taking all the money and did it. It's good to look fly. You know, it's nice to feel good about yourself and dripped out and all these kind of things, right? It's good it feels good. But if you ain't got good food, it don't matter if you look good. You got a decent job to sustain yourself, it don't matter if you look good. If you don't have a roof over your head, it don't matter. So these are the things that we should be creating, building our communities, and stop complaining.
Tell me about the restaurant. Is it, remind me of the name, I Tell Veggie Palace, something like that?
It's Oasis Vegan Veggie Parlor.
Okay, that's close. I've stopped in there one time on my way through Boston, and the food is delicious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really wonderful. So say it again. Tell me the area so people can stop there.
Veggie Parlor is located at 340 Washington Street, Dorchester, Mass. Right, and the funny thing about that place, it's in the crossroad. So talk about crossroads earlier.
Changing direction.
Right? So it's in the crossroad. It's called Four Corners, right? And it's in the crossroad. And the thing about it, you can make a decision right there.
Is McDonald's across the street?
No, but we do have. They are our friends, so I'm not gonna call them out. But we do have a soul food place right across the street.
Cool.
You know, so that it's a little community that we're building, and the objective is to start there and have that energy spread out.
Wonderful.
You know, into the community. And just like, but my whole point to saying that is not to say, oh, you did this and did that, is to actually say what I believe as musicians and singers, players of instruments, poets, artists, meaning drawing, illustration, interviewers, news broadcasters, all these things, those are elements of building a society. Because we, the same ones, we need healthy food, we need good jobs, we need good health insurance, we need health centers, all these different places. We are responsible to create it, not the government. Why are we giving them so much power?
For real.
Why are we giving them so much power? We should be controlling our own media. And this is not to rage war after anything. It just makes sense. It's no war. Me no want no war. We don't need no more trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Just take the power back.
Huh? Say again?
I said, just take the power back.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And and power is not some stuff coming out your hands. Power is just you making a decision. That's what you were given. Yo, you know what? I ain't doing that no more. And yes, it's gonna be hard because here's the devil now speaking. Yeah, right. You gonna stop drinking? Yeah, right. Watch when you pass that liquor store, right? And now you have to build up the strength to say, hey, you know what? Nah, I rule you. You don't rule me. And when I'm ready, I am gonna take a drink and I ain't gonna think about it. When I'm ready. You see the balance there? Because sometimes we can get fanatic with it. See, we got to find the balance. So it's like, okay, but when you start drinking and drinking and drinking and now you're discombobulated and you feel like you need this, even down to the smoking. I need smoke in order to maintain my high. Nah, I'm naturally high when I'm surged with energy. You know what I mean? That alone you know? So it's like we have to take control. And that starts with us. That's what it's about, you know? And you may not see the results of your control that you take over self, but it's the control that creates the new dynasty, the new destiny, the new legacy. Because when you start to take control of yourself, you're able to show others how to take control of themselves. And it starts to build a generational rush. And that is the generational wealth. We become the currency. You know what I mean? We are the current. You know, it's not just this piece of paper that we're passing along or some digital numbers. We are the ones and the zeros. You know what I mean? We are on the cosmic grid. You know what I mean? They're waiting for us to raise up. The creator needs us to work through. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that. We are the currency.
So if we understand, like, yo, come on, wake up. Even though it's happening, so I'm so happy at the same time. We're in the rising golden age again, and we're at the helm of it. So let's do our duty, our civic duty, and make it happen. So build more health centers, build more schools. Start it in the middle of your living room. You know, build more yoga centers, build more temples, build more health food restaurants, health food markets, eco laundromats. You know what I mean? Build more smoke centers, but everything from a healthy perspective. You know, that's all we have to do. We have the same items that everyone needs. Building it with a different cultivation of mind. You know, that's why I say have the same corporations and the laws and this, you know, we'll have to change a couple things and stuff like that. But have all of that because they're ancient, but come with a different cultivation of it. How the social interact with it. You know, no more monopoly over things, equal sharing of things. You know what I mean? Where at least the minimum wage is minimum wage where you can survive. You know, I gotta watch this. Might start cutting us off. Like, this guy's running for it. But I really think that we are the true politicians of the world. You know, we are them. Politics is just dealing with the public. So once you're dealing with the public, you know, inject the public with things that can empower them, you know, influence them. Again, you may not be here. Dick Gregory, who passed away, Ashe, one of our elders, he says, man, once the universe open your eyes, there's no closing it. There's no looking back because now you're conscious. That means now you have to take responsibility and you're able to respond because you know. So being awoke is being about taking your responsibility and able to respond. You can't go back to sleep. There's no going back to sleep. Nah, you can't go back to sleep. The only thing you need to put to sleep is the beast that is in you. So the only thing you need to rock to sleep is the beast. Tell the beast when you stop getting too over emotional. Using your emotional power in the wrong way. Don't be oversensitive, using your sensitive power in the wrong way. Don't allow your ego to be used in the wrong way. Don't allow your power to be used in the wrong way. Control the beast. Because when the Kundalini energy is awoken, now you got to have the discipline to maintain it, because it could get out of hand. Because you have a lower end and you have a higher end. You want to be up in the key set of your brain, which is the frontal lobe, the seat of consciousness. That's where you want to be. I give thanks for the teachings of Ra Nefer, because I want people to know that we have ancestors that are here in living flesh that are downloading the information, and these are not new information. These are ancient information that is upon the earth now, in the midst going on. And we have to be able to say that, yo, let's just do this, man. Do your part, So when you return home to the actual physical ascension, when you return home, they say, wow, welcome. Come in. Good job. Yo, good job. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Blessed. Can you tell people where they can find you on social media?
You could go to JahRiffe Instagram, JahRiffe B. Mackenzie on Facebook, JahRiffe Roots Movement on Facebook. You can really just Google JahRiffe, JahRiffe, and it would all pop up. And if you want to get to the restaurant, you could put Oasis Vegan Veggie Parlor. The marketplace is going to be Oasis Marketplace.
Sweet.
And you could just, Google it in and everything will fly up and you'll be able to be initiated into the movement. Movement into the inner self,
It's powerful. Well, I give thanks for you taking this time today, JahRiffe. Again, very grateful and loving the balance that it brings today, like you brought up with the equinox. And, it's been an honor and a joy. So thank you again for being here. You have been tuned into Ancient Current, Rastafari Roots and Culture with JahRiffe today. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more and help build this movement. Blessed love. Give thanks.
Give thanks. Keep up the good work.
Give thanks.
Blessed love.
Blessed.